Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 911 for the 22nd of August 2024 for the Ukraine war or the special military operation in Ukraine. So bizarre. I always get new viewers complaining about my accent or the way I talk. Like they say, I cannot be understood. Anyway, let's go on. We'll go on from the Kherson front, doing anti-clockwise and end with the Kursk front. So if you like to be cursed, you can just jump to the Kursk. Just scroll backwards. Anyway, start off with the Kherson front. At the Kursk Sun front, which is like Kursk front, but it's the sun. There is shelling reported over at Komishani as well as Tokarivka. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, there is a geolocation of a helicopter guided missile strike from the Russian helicopter on the Ukrainian position at Tokarivka, so probably it's related to the shelling report. Otherwise, there's nothing happening over this front line. We move into the Zaporizhia front. At the Zaporizhia front, there is one report of fighting or attack at a Kamyansky, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. They also reported shelling or attacking this position called Stepney. Stepney is a bit further away, somewhere around here. I can't remember where. But it's not important because it's not in the front line, so I'm not going to mark it in. So we move on away from the Zaporizhia front. At the Donetsk front, at the Kamsky sector, the front line here started to get a bit active suddenly. Fighting is reported at Makarivka, Uruzhaine, in the direction of Rozdone. I have no idea how this works, unless there's a Rozdone somewhere that I'm not aware of, and over at Rifnopil. So this it's interesting. So we didn't have much, like in Tokarivka. The last was on the 19th. Before that was 6. It was a very quiet front line. So suddenly this area started to get a bit more busy. So the last one for Rifnopil was on the 15th, and before that was in July. So yeah, let's wait and see how this goes, whether this becomes some kind of offensive from the Russians. We move on. Over at the Voleda region, we have fighting reported towards Voleda, towards Vodian, at Konstantinivka and Paraskovievka. Particularly over at Paraskovievka, the Russian forces in the northern region, north of Paraskovievka, allegedly, according to the Russian sources, have secured basically the northern flank. So take it with a pinch of salt because it's just one-sided for now, but most likely it's going to be correct because of the way how the tide of war goes. Most likely it's correct. But still take it with a pinch of salt. Because it's more tasty that way. So over at the Marinka region, the Battle of Krasnohorivka continues and Maximilianivka also continues. There's not much information about these regions. And we move further up north. There is fighting reported at Khalivka. This is not very important, but what's more important is that I have break up this Ukrainian front line, to make the Khalivka region and the Nevelsky region to be inside of the Kurakovo forces region, because according to the Ukrainian way of classifying the fighting, Khalivka is now under the Kurakiv direction, which is the Kurakovo direction, which is here. This is also where their stronghold is. Their forward operating position is their HQ. So this is the Pokrov direction for the Ukrainians. So which is why now this breaks up in this way. Tentatively, I'm still not sure what to do. Maybe Khalivka and Nevelsky should be under the Donetsk front from now on, and this region here might be the Pokrov front. Or Adivka front for now, because I still need to break up the other part. Once I break up the other part, I haven't decided where I should cut it. The other part will join the New York front, and then this front will no longer be Adivka, but will be Pokrov front. So tentatively, not yet. So we'll just wait a bit more. I think within the next few days, we'll kind of have an answer, where I should cut it, because I'm still looking at how I should cut it. So over at the Adivka front, a lot of fighting is being reported all around this region. Russian forces are attacking towards Zelenopole, Vozdivizenka, Novoderevsky, Marolubivka, Horodivka, Mykolaievka. I just want to complain about Mykolaievka. There's another Mykolaievka here, And there's another Mykolaiivka here. There's 3 Mykolaiivka in the same place across the distance of just 20 kilometers, less than that, like 15 kilometers. What the hell, man, Ukraine? So, so it's going to get very confusing if all the Mykolaiivka start to fight at the same time. We already have 2 close by, so I have no idea which Mykolaiivka they are referring to. There's fighting reported at at Novohorodivka, at Mikhailivka, Kalinove, and Komishivka, Pitishe, and Kalinove also, same problem. There's one Kalinove here, there's another Kalinove here. So I have no idea which Kalinove is under fighting. So I just gonna assume it's gonna be the one south of Pitishe. So this is the current situation around here, very hairy. So the Ukrainian mapping continues to catch up to reality as they map, the Russian forces have captured most of Pitishe, and however the fighting is actually heading towards Kalinove already, according to the other sources like Ryba and the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So, and then there is fighting reported at Novohorodivka. The Russian forces have entered Novohorodivka. And then the Russian forces also have started to push out of Olivka in the direction of Novohorodivka. It could become the second vector of attack. So let's see how this develops in this region here. Further up north, Battle of Novohorodivka, we have no idea. We're also not sure if the fighting is actually at Mykolaiivka, this Mykolaiivka or the other Mykolaiivka. So no, just take it with a pinch of salt of this fighting here. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit. There's a tank hit by FPV drone within Horodivka. Not important. Fighting reported at Novotoretsky, and fighting reported at Marolubivka. So not sure how this works. But no, maybe the Russians are pushing in both sectors. So let's see how this goes. Otherwise, the other northern sector here is kind of pointless to talk about. Over at the New York front, at the New York sector of the New York front, Russian forces are attacking at Pentemelenivka, Alexandropil, New York, and Nelipivka. So let's see. The New York is actually reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. They talk about New York, but they also talk about Nelipivka. So I have no idea how that works as well. So let's see how this goes. Over at the Torex sector, the Russian forces have entered Torex. The Battle of Torex has begun. The Russians have entered Torex, and this is very, very major news because this Torex is actually a bigger city than New York. And if the Russians ever take Torex, it would be as bad as losing Adiyevka 2 times, because they lose New York, which is already at Adiyevka. So then Torex again, it'll be like they lose Adiyevka 3 times. So it's going to be quite bad. And the speed of advance, of course, may not be very fast because there is already rumors of Russians taking the high-rise zone for quite some time. Within Torex, there's a geolocation of Russian airstrike, and this is bad because the last time we see them enter into Adiyevka is always start with a lot of airstrikes and TOS-1A and whatnot, totally crumble any fortification and heavy defenses. And it makes the capturing of the city really fast. And there is fighting reported at Druzhba. So, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Torex, I think, if I'm not wrong, is actually bigger than Bakhmut. Is it bigger than Bakhmut? No, Bakhmut is still bigger. Okay, Bakhmut is still bigger. It's bigger than New York. And I think it's bigger than Adiyevka. Where is Adiyevka? No, Adiyevka I think it's bigger than Adiyevka. So it is a pretty big city over here. So let's see how this goes. Let's see how long this battle will take. We move into the Bakhmut front. At the southern flank of the Bakhmut front, very big news. Russian forces geolocated in the northwest of Klishchiivka, confirming the Russians have fully secured the northern part of Klishchiivka. So this is a very, very big development. It changes the entire strategic situation around here. The Russian forces can now push towards the canal and secure the canal. And this will also means that the Ukrainian forces in this area might be encircled, or they are no longer there. They might have already bounced into the forest and to become forest elves, because these are orcs. So they like to talk about Lord of the Ring. The Mordor forces has come, and then so they have to become elves. So they need to live in the forest. So that makes sense, right? Logical. So That's why you need to watch DPA. Good analysis you cannot find anywhere else. So we move further up north. Fighting is reported at Ivanivsky, wrong color. Uh, uh, but I do not know where the fighting is. So let's see how this goes. And over at this northern half, fighting is reported at Chasivia and Krykhorovka. Particularly over at the Chasivia region, geolocation of Russian forces shows that the Russians are still in the Neve region, still in the northern part or northeastern part of Neve. They still has the foothold, and it invalidated Ukrainian claims, and the Russians may not push. Really depends on the situation, I would say, of this the situation on the ground. If no one is defending, honestly, I also don't think they should push because it's just going to be an ambush. So yeah, I'm very no, not bullish, bearish. I'm very bearish about a Chasivia offensive. So I don't think it's a good idea. So moving on. Over at the Sivers front, Sivers offensive still continues with fighting reported at Bilhorivka, Verkhomotkanyamsky, Sperne, Vimka, as well as Perezny. Of course, sources come from all the different sources, like the Russian Defense Ministry, Ukrainian Defense Ministry, and it's a combined report. So the Russians are pushing across all the front line. So, but not much frontline changes. So very weird. So let's wait and see. Move into the Crimea front. At the Crimea front, we have fighting reported in the Serbiansky Forestry, Dibrova, Torske, Terny, and Novosadove. So yeah, that's all from this region here. Further up north, over at the Svetove front, we have okay, let me zoom out a bit. Fighting reported in Nevsky, Makievka, Ukrainian forces counterattack at Novovodyan, Russian attack towards Kharkivka. Fighting reported at, I believe this is Nadia, and and fighting reported at this region is called Andrievka. So this is the current situation around this area here. Particularly is that the Ukrainian mapping Deep State UA has claimed that at Novovodyan, the Ukrainian forces have captured some grounds around here. This is a Ukrainian claim. It's not validated by the Russian side yet. So we just have to see. And I find it weird because if you look at the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, they've said that the Russians are attacking towards Kharkivka, which is here. The Russians are attacking Ukrainian captured ground at Novovodyan. I do not know how this works. So, yeah, today I've said this 3 times. Very interesting. I also do not know how that works. So anyway, let's see how this goes. Over at the further up north, over the Pischane region, Russian forces are attacking towards Lozova, fighting at Stemakivka as well as towards Klushkivka. So let's see how this develop. I will be also probably changing this Ukrainian mapping soon. This so that we can break it up into various sectors. So that Pischane sector will have its own mapping. So that it's easier on the eyes to tell which front from which front. So and also as Tabaivka, I almost missed it. So yeah, the Russians are pretty active in this region here, but yeah, we shall wait and we shall wait. At the Kupiansk front, there is fighting reported at Sinkivka, and that's it. I feel like I'm a bit bouncy, maybe because I drank Red Bull. So, yeah, Red Bull didn't sponsor this message. There is fighting reported at Voschansk and also at Klipoke and Lipsy. Yeah, that's it. No, so just general reporting. We move on. Over at the Kursk front. Kursk front is always very cursed. So over at the southern flank of the Kursk front, Russian forces are still counterattacking over at Borki as well as Blakovo. So Blakovo could be just shelling reports, may not be a ground attack. Ukrainian forces are still holding Spenoye, so there's nothing much else to really talk about here. We move into the Sudja sector. At the Sudja sector, Ukrainian forces are allegedly attacking Martinovka, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. So is the Russians still there? I have no idea. Or is it that they are attacking near Martinovka and the Russians are actually in the deeper position and have no control over Martinovka? No idea. So Russian forces are also attacking Mihailovka. Ukrainian forces are pushing Ruskaya Konopelka, and they have been geolocated on the outskirts. Probably they are trying to do a flanking movement, and at least for this geolocation, the vehicle got destroyed. So maybe the flanking movement have not worked out, and the Ruskaya Konopelka is like a death trap. Tentatively, the Ukrainians have a lot of equipment and soldiers lost within it as they tried to break through but failed. But of course, it doesn't sound like as big as certain places where the Russians are losing more. We're not sure. But everything is sound. There's not a lot of evidence here and there. So let's wait and see how this develop. Important thing to note is that BMP-3, a Russian BMP-3, was engaging the Ukrainian forces over this town or this village. And this is the first indication, for the first time, we actually have a proper advanced or no regular force equipment, heavy equipment that is at the front line, at the Kursk front. I don't remember seeing Russian tanks or BMP-3s or Terminators or something, all this heavy equipment. This is the first time I think I saw them. So previously, I think there's some armored vehicles and whatnot, but it's not in this kind of role where they are fighting active frontline battles. So I believe that the regular forces, the main force, has arrived over in the Raskaya Konopelka region. So and this could also mean that they might be in the region of Purskanoe and also at the Martinovka region. There's a good chance that this could be the case. Of course, this is not guaranteed. This is just a projection of what I think might be happening based on a small glimpse of what is currently happening at the front line. So, but previously the Russians are all mostly special forces. There is not much heavy equipment, so that is the difference. So once you see BMP-3, yeah, some armored, mechanized brigade is here now. So moving on, over at this eastern flank. At the eastern flank, Ukrainian forces are attacking Ruskoye Parashnoye, and they are also attacking Malaya Loknia. Information coming from the Russian Defense Ministry, they're reporting all these attacks. Russian forces are geolocated within Pogrebki, confirming Russian presence and capture, or not capture, but Russian presence at Pogrebki, because it has always been this gray zone. And information coming from the pro-Russian sources confirm Neschavev is under Russian control because of Russian journalists entering the village and confirming that the surrounding has been so-called liberated. Raiba did mention that according to their information, the Ukrainians have never entered Neschaev. The Ukrainians actually is in the surrounding due to this flanking movement previously to go around Ruskoye Parashnoye, and then they got ambushed. And it seems like the Russians has arrived and cleared out this entire region. But we cannot confirm because there's no mapping to really show us this yet, because the Russian mapping is very zoomed out. We can't really see. So, but if we go back to the BMP-3 theory, that could be the case where the Russian main force has arrived. At least part of it has arrived. And this is part of the reason why the journalists dare to go into a frontline village, and then they can report that the surrounding has been captured or recaptured by the Russian forces. So it's something interesting to note. And further up in the northern flank, there is fighting reported in Skrilevka. And at Skrilevka, the Russian Defense Ministry reported that they have discovered 2 armored vehicles, I believe. Let me see. 2 armored vehicles that was destroyed. And probably they were in hiding within the forest, and then the Russians discovered them and destroyed them. So although I put it as a Ukrainian attack, but generally this is the Ukrainians are attacking by right. They are in the region. The Russians simply is hunting them, probably through the drones and whatnot. So the Ukrainians, there's no more news regarding this incursion, where the Ukrainians did this incursion into the countryside towards Alexandrovka. Perhaps they have already go to somewhere else, but we do not know. Tentatively, there is no more information about this. We will wait for more information. And it's important to note also, this is a SITREP situation report for yesterday's summary of what happened yesterday. Please don't comment below and say, oh, there's already the latest news. Why you're late? Your information is late. Your report is like, The report is not late. This is yesterday's summary. No, this is not the latest update. So, and over at this Kirinevo region over on the western flank, Ukrainian forces are still fighting in the region of Agovka, and they are still trying to push Kirinevo. Unfortunately for the Ukrainians, the Russians are still holding a firm line around here. There is no change in the tactical situation over this region. Further south of this region, over at the Snagorsk region, Ukrainian forces are attacking Krasno-Otoberskoye. They are geolocated just next to the river, signifying that they have made some progress around there. They are also continue their attack over at Komarovka. Russian forces are counter-attacking over at Vishnevka, Snagorsk, as well as Penosovka. Ukrainian forces are geolocated northwest of Penosovka, confirming at least firm Ukrainian control around that region. Otherwise, the rest of the region is overlapping mapping, so there is no clear indication that they are there or not. So this one is a geolocation of Ukrainian forces. So this means that I need to actually do another confirm. Yeah, I think I missed. I should do some more. I should do this. No, the Ukrainian forces captured this region. Yeah, something like maybe should I draw that far? Maybe not that far. Something like this. So from the Vishnevka region, so Krasno, oh my god, I don't know how to spell it. Burskate. Later I change the spelling. So Ukraine capture 22nd of, and then save because I don't have the source yet. Going in, copy this. Yeah. So yeah, so we have to update this because the Ukrainians actually have firm control, expanding their control around that region. So this is, yeah, so the Ukrainians most probably coming from Vishnevka region. So yeah, I have to map that. I forgot to do that. If not, our mapping will be screwed up later. So yeah, so this is the situation over in the Snagorsk region. Further south of Snagorsk region, we have the fighting reported at Gordievka. So Russian Defense Ministry reported that they are attacking Ukrainian forces near Gordievka, and it's unclear if it is in the region or in Gordievka in the sense. So because there's no confirmation of the Ukrainian capture of Gordievka, so we have to continue to wait for corroboration from the Russian side. Ukrainian mapping claims that they have captured Gordievka. We have no idea. So moving on, over at the situation of the Grushkovo situation, we do not have any more of this attack on Russian pontoons. Maybe the Russians are not trying to put pontoons anymore. There is shelling reported across Sumy. A lot of regions got shelled, including this area just off Tekhino, another one south of Grushkovo. Then there's another at Sumy, something near the border of the, where's this place? Meropilsky, Krasnopilia. This is over at Kolotilovka region. So there is quite a number of shelling all over the place, and various places. I can imagine that this is attacking. This is going to cross directly straight going for Glushkovo, and then this will try to break through Tekhino. Sumy is just Sumy. Then there's also all these various how to say, why is the color is wrong? Okay, sorry, wrong color. So there's this grouping that is supporting the main operation within the current Kursk front, and then we have all this trying to look at more new possibilities to break through. But so far yeah, it is what it is. The Ukrainians still have not launched this massive Glushkovo offensive yet. I wonder if the shelling and the drone strikes are taking their toll on these Ukrainian reserve forces. Because it could happen, if I'm quite sure many of you guys do play computer games, and especially real-time strategy games. Sometimes you plan a big offensive and then you got sabotage. Half the forces or a quarter of the forces got destroyed, and then you just delay your attack. You delay your offensive so that you want to build up your forces again. This could be the case, in the real world as well. Because if you go in with a half force, instead of the full planned forces, then your chances of failure doubles. So you don't really want that. So that's the circumstances that they have to face. Over in the north, this is very complicated. There is a lot of shelling. There's shelling at Druzhba. There's one over at Pervomaiske. There's one over at the border region. This is I'm going to talk more about that. That's not shelling. That's actually an attack. And there's shelling reported just off the Kursk region, where the Ukrainians actually have this another force that is supposed to attack towards Rylis, which didn't happen. So the Russians actually launched an attack against Ukrainian forces at the Zaria crossing. So Zaria is this place. They don't call this the Zaria crossing in the report. They call this the Trepanoye Gotovka region. Chotos Dubove is over here, and then the Trepanoye is over here. It's very complicated names. I just call it Zaria because it's a simpler name and it's the nearest town. So the Russians, what happened in this geolocation was that the Russians basically, there's a full column of armored vehicles, including tanks, and then they just started shelling at Ukrainian position along the border. And I wonder why. Why are they doing this operation? So, and the Russian forces probably then after that just retreated and went home. And this fire attack is very, very interesting. I think this is just a message. I don't think this is a real attack, but I think the Russians are just sending a message that if you are trying to build up a force, because there is some shelling in these regions here, I think they are trying to tell the Ukrainians that the Russians are here. The main force is already here. They are ready to meet the Ukrainian forces and trying to warn them against trying to start a new incursion into new regions, to create a new front line. I believe this region is Bryansk already. So there's Bryansk region, and this is the Kursk region. And further south down of this road is going to be another oblast. I believe it's the Oryol Oblast. So I believe this is the main reason. I don't see any reasoning for the Russians to be attacking, to be firing at something. Just like how they attack. I believe many of you guys may have seen the early days of the Israeli attack on Gaza. Right, when the ground forces first attacked. But they didn't go into Gaza. They have this column just do a drive past and they just fire from distance against the first row of buildings. It's something like this. There's just a column of armor just firing at the tree line at the border region. I think this is just to send a message against the Ukrainians to tell them that the window of opportunity is over. So I think this is the key thing. So for those that are watching until this point, you can give yourself a medal because you are awesome. Because 27 minutes and you're still here, 28 minutes. So my salute to you. Good job. And last point is that the Bryansk region has formed territorial defense force. Surprisingly, Kursk region didn't. The Bryansk have. So the governor have a statement saying, Alexander Bogomaz say that the territorial defense of the Bryansk region has been formed. It's led by a major general of the airborne forces, which is the VDV, and the issue of weapons has now been resolved. So they say that there's certain sites where there's a combat clash with Ukrainian sabotage group has been stabilized. So I didn't see much of this Ukrainian incursion into the Bryansk region kind of thing. I did saw someone, I believe it is AMK mapping, tweeted about it, but I didn't really see any of my sources talk much about it at all. So yeah, so this is the situation around at the border region between Bryansk and Sumy, Chernihiv region. So that's it. So this is the summary for the day of 911 for the 22nd of August. So do press the like button, subscribe. So thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think, particularly what kind of reports do you want me to focus on, because I think the excitement for Kursk is dropping. the Kursk reports are not doing so well. So let me know what you want to hear more of, what kind of analysis and or whatever. Let me know. I do my best to read it. I may not be able to read all of them, but I'll try my best. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next update. And Enjoy your weekend. It's Friday. TGIF. Okay. Bye, guys. It's the Red Bull. It's the Red Bull.